Hey coding enthusiasts, welcome back to our channel. Today we are embarking on a journey through the vast landscape of making API calls in JavaScript. We will explore the classic vanilla JS approach of using XML HTTP requests and fetch, and then we will dive into the world of third-party libraries with AJAX and Axios. Buckle up, this is going to be a comprehensive guide. Let's start with the roots, the vanilla JS approach. We will be covering two methods that have been fundamental to web development: XML HTTP request and fetch. XML HTTP request, often abbreviated as XHR, is a JavaScript object that provides a way to communicate with server asynchronously. It allows the transfer of data between a web browser and a server, enabling the dynamic updating of web pages without requiring a full page reload. Now, let's dive into the code to see how XML HTTP request is utilized to interact with an API. In the following code snippet, we use XHR to interact with an API. Let's break down the key steps involved. In these lines, we define the API endpoint and create an instance of XML HTTP request object, configuring it for a GET request to a specified URL and send it over the network. The crucial part lies in handling the response, which is accomplished in the onload event. If the status is 200, indicating success, we parse and log the received data. For a 404 status, we log an error, and for any other status, a generic message is logged. This sequence of actions showcases the fundamental role of XHR in enabling asynchronous communication between a web page and a server, paving the way for dynamic and responsive web applications. Now that we have explored the traditional XHR, let's step into the modern era with the Fetch API. Fetch provides a cleaner and more flexible way to make HTTP requests, making it a preferred choice in contemporary web development. Unlike XHR, Fetch is promise-based, leveraging JavaScript's native promise capabilities for a more streamlined and intuitive syntax. It simplifies the process of making network requests and handling responses, offering a more modern and expressive approach to asynchronous communication. Let's dissect the code to see how Fetch simplifies API calls. In this snippet, we utilize the Fetch API to interact with the same API endpoint. Let's go through the key components. In these lines, we initiate the fetch operation by calling fetch with the API URL. The chaining of .then functions facilitates a more sequential and readable flow. The first .then checks if response is OK. If not, it throws an error. If the response is OK, it proceeds to parse the JSON data. The second then locks the parsed data. Any error during the process are caught in the catch block. Building upon our exploration of the Fetch API, let's take a closer look at an even more modern and concise approach using AsyncAwait. AsyncAwait simplifies asynchronous code by allowing us to write it in a more synchronous fashion, enhancing readability and maintainability. In this refined code snippet, we encapsulate the fetch operation within an asynchronous function named fetchData. Let's break down the key elements. The async function. The async keyword declares the function as asynchronous, allowing the usage of await within it. The await keyword is used to pause the execution of the function until the promise returned by the fetch URL is resolved. This creates a more synchronous appearance. We employ a try-catch block to handle both successful responses and errors. If the response is not OK, an error is thrown. If there is any issues during the fetch or parsing process, they are caught in the catch block. The async await approach enhances the clarity of our code, making it more readable and maintaining the benefits of asynchronous programming. Moving on to the second segment, we will explore how third-party libraries can take API calls to the next level. Our contenders today are AJAX and Axios. As we progress through our exploration of API calls in JavaScript, let's turn our attention to AJAX, an acronym for Asynchronous JavaScript and XML. AJAX is not a technology in itself, but a collection of technologies including HTML, CSS, JavaScript, DOM, XML, and most importantly, XHR object. AJAX enables seamless communication between a web page and a server, allowing for exchange of data without the need of a full page reload. This has been a transformative force, contributing to the dynamic and interactive nature of modern web applications. Let's delve into a practical example of making API call using AJAX. In this code snippet, we employ AJAX to interact with the API. Let's break down the essential components. We use the $.ajax method, which is part of the jQuery library, to configure and send our AJAX request. We specify the API endpoint in the URL property and define the HTML method as get to retrieve data from the server. If the request is successful, the success callback is invoked, where we handle and log the received data. If there's an error, the error callback is triggered and we log the error details. AJAX simplifies asynchronous request by abstracting away some of the complexities of raw XHR, providing a cleaner and more user-friendly interface. As we explore further, let's uncover the capabilities of Axios, which is a robust and popular JavaScript library for making HTTP requests. Axios builds on the foundation laid by XHR and provides a clean and efficient interface for handling HTTP requests in both the browser and Node.js environments. One of Axios' standout features is its promise-based approach, which simplifies error handling and promotes a more concise and readable syntax. Now, let's dive into an example of making an API call using Axios. In this code snippet, we leverage Axios to interact with the API. Let's break down the key elements. We first import the Axios library, assuming we are in a Node.js environment. In a browser environment, you can include the Axios via script tag or other module systems. We use the Axios.get method to initiate a GET request to the specified URL. If the request is successful, the .then block is executed and we log the data from the response. If there's an error, the .catch block is triggered and we log the error details. Axios provides a clean and concise syntax, and its promise-based nature simplifies asynchronous code, making it a favorite among developers for managing HTTP requests. There you have it, a comprehensive guide to calling APIs in JavaScript, from the classic vanilla JS methods like XML HTTP requests and fetch to the powerful third-party libraries like AJAX and Axios. The choice is yours based on your project's need. Whether you prefer the traditional approach or embrace the modern and concise syntax, just remember, happy coding. If you found this guide helpful, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth coding tutorials.